Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Ahmed Raza Khan. Now, after the video of Viva questions, I'll be sharing some of the Viva answers with you, and we'll be having a quick revision of the subject with some explanatory responses. To begin with, first question was define forensic medicine. In a short version, it can be described as legal aspect of medicine and medical aspect of law. Even if you give this answer, it is sufficient to get you pass and get you through the Viva. But if you are a distinction seeking student, the better definition for that is it is defined as a branch of medicine which deals with the application of principles of medical knowledge to the purpose of law and to furtherance of justice. Next question was define toxicology. This word is derived from Greek and Latin origins, and it means study of poisons on living organisms. Who is the father of toxicology? He is Matthew Joseph Bonaventure Orfella. Even if you say Matthew Orfella, that will do the purpose and serve the purpose of the question. Next was define firearm weapon. A firearm weapon is a barreled range weapon that inflicts damage on targets by launching one or more projectiles driven by rapidly expanding high-pressure gases produced by exothermic combustion, deflagration of a chemical propellant, historically which used to be black powder and now it is the smokeless gunpowder. The difference between a bolt action, a semi-automatic and an automatic weapon. Bolt action is a type of manual firearm action that is operated by directly manipulating the bolt via a bolt handle, which is most commonly placed on the right hand side of the weapon. Next, a semi-automatic weapon firearm, also called a self-loading or auto-loading firearm, whose action mechanism automatically loads a following round of cartridge into the chamber and prepares it for subsequent firing. But this firing requires the shooter to manually actuate the trigger in order to discharge each individual shot. And finally, the automatic weapon. An automatic weapon, a fully automatic weapon, firearm weapon, is generally defined as one that continues to load and fire cartridges from its magazine as long as the trigger is depressed and until the magazine is depleted of the available ammunition. Now, a point here to be elaborated is that an automatic weapon can be changed into a semi-automatic weapon with just click of a lever. So it could either act as a semi-automatic weapon or an automatic weapon depending upon the click of the lever in which condition you have clicked it on. What are buttresses of skull? These are sited between the cranial vault and the facial skeleton with base of skull absorbing impact forces from both sides. A series of anatomical buttresses include the pillars of strength of the skull base, which are zygomatic maxillary buttress, the nasio-maxillary buttress, and the pteryogo-maxillary buttress. What is the mechanism of froth formation in drowning? There is inhalation of water into the alveolar space. Then there are violent respiratory efforts, that is the forceful expiratory efforts, along with the mucus lubricating the pulmonary surface area and the blood from the ruptured blood vessels, as well as the surfactant layer of the lungs. All these combine due to the churning movement of the fluid medium with air, which leads to froth formation, just like when you pour some milk into the blender and that high velocity of the blender churns the fluid and there are bubbles formed on that fluid. Similarly, the bubbles are formed when all these above mentioned things, they churn up due to the violent respiratory efforts leading to froth formation. And this froth formation is not only that is coming out of the nostrils, But even if you wipe it off, it reappears. And when you open up the trachea, it is there in the trachea, in the bronchus, in the bronchioles, even in the alveolar level. You press the lung and the crepitating bubbles come out of it. And similarly, there was a question in the Viva video, that is, what are Poltov hemorrhages? Poltov hemorrhages are again massive hemorrhages in the pulmonary tissue due to violent respiratory efforts. Massive hemorrhages. Then the question was, are diatoms conclusive evidence of antemortem drowning? The answer is both yes and no. Why? Yes, in case of diatoms detected in bone marrow of the drowned dead body, which match with the control specimen taken from the crime scene. No, in the case that if the individual was an indigenous resident of the same area where he drowned, which means that he might have accidentally inhaled some water during his swimming during his lifetime. So once the diatoms inhaled, they remain in the bone marrow. So it's not necessary that the person drowned in the same water, or whether the drowning was antemortem, the person could have been killed and then thrown into the water. And yet if diatoms are detected in the bone marrow, those must have been that during the lifetime that person was the resident of the same area, and he might have swam in that water, and he might have inhaled some water during his lifetime. So you have to be very definitive and very cautious while determining the antemortem drowning, which not only is dependent on the detection of the diatoms, but also on the clinical features and the autopsy findings like froth, that we have already discussed, froth formation in the respiratory passages. And then another short sign of antemortem drowning is presence of water in the middle ear cavity. Then what is the difference between superfetation and superfecundation? Superfetation, it manifests as the formation of an embryo from a different menstrual cycle while another embryo or fetus is already present in the uterus. As compared to that, superfecundation is the fertilization of two or more ova from the same cycle, from the same menstrual cycle, by the sperm from separate acts of sexual intercourse, which can lead to twin babies from two separate biological fathers. What is volitional activity? These activities are actual voluntary acts or physical activity observed in a dying victim of fatal injury. What is adipocere formation? This is a variant sequel of putrefactive process. Clostridium valchi, or presently known as Clostridium perfringens, initiates the process of hydrolysis and hydrogenation of the body fats. What are the requirements for that? There should be sufficient fatty tissue in the body. There should be presence of moisture or adequate humidity of the surrounding air in the grave. There should be presence of electrolytes in normal physiological concentrations. And one thing that is against all this is excess of water or running water, which might retard its formation due to washing out of the electrolytes. What is mummification? This occurs due to heat drying of the tissues aided by currents of air. It is mostly met with in adults in desert conditions or in newborn babies hidden in chimneys. What are the common law torts? They state that a plaintiff has a right to be free from physical and mental injury. Number 2, defendant has a duty to the plaintiff to conform to a standard. Number 3, there is supposed to be a breach of duty by the defendant. And then number 4, this breach of duty is supposed to result in damages to the plaintiff. And finally, there is determination of damages in terms of monetary compensation. And this is to be continued in the next lecture of the Viva Answer series, which is going to be composed of some very difficult questions because as the students start giving the answers, the level of the difficulty of the questions increases, just to give higher grades to the students and to give distinction to the students so that they can be differentiated from average students. So stay tuned in for the upcoming lectures of the highlighted distinction questions. Thank you very much.